Hey guys! Today I am making a parachute by using a new, to me, method that is really easy with only one measurement, no math, and gives an 8-sided parachute. This method allows making all holes at one time. I use an old soldering iron with a mini tip on it, burn through the ripstop and make all holes at one time. If you enjoy our down-home model rocket videos, then subscribe and press the like button, it really does help.
Okay, I'm going to make a parachute today out of paper instead of cloth, a ripstop, which I normally would use for a rocket. And so the thing we're going to start with is a square piece of paper. This is obviously not square, it's rectangular. So we're going to make it square. Obviously you would start with a square piece of cloth. This little trick right here makes a square piece of paper, which is what we want. So this is not part of making the parachute, this is part of making a square piece of paper. Okay, so now we have our square piece of cloth, paper, whatever. Just imagine this is cloth. Paper behaves so much better for making a video how to do this. And I always got some trash laying around that I got to pick up. So you place the paper away from you and you fold it into half. Just like that. Alright. It was away from me, so I'm putting it back the way it was. I'm going to pick the paper up because I can fold it a lot better. If I pick it up, then if I try to do it on the table. So now we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. And we're going to, I don't want to rotate 180 degrees, I want to rotate it 90 degrees to the right, not 180. 90 degrees to the right. Now the key is, I watched a guy do this on a video and I just thought it was super neat that I'd share it with the rocket friends. But the key is that you want all of the open ends to be together. So this is a closed end, this is closed end, and this is open end. Alright, so we've done that. Now we're going to rotate it to the right 45 degrees. And we're going to take this piece and go up. We're going to take this piece and go up to the tip, so we make a triangle, just like that. And we're going to rotate it down. And we're going to take this piece, and we're going to go to, I hope I'm doing it right, because if you don't, you wind up with a cut up piece of junk instead of a, so we folded that down where we got this configuration here going on. These sides are even, and all of the open ends are at the bottom. So that's what you want. You want the open ends at the bottom and the closed ends at the top. So our cut line is going to be along this short piece of paper right here, this one. So we're going to cut right along the length of that piece of paper. And this will be trash. And I'm going to put a spill hole in it just for giggles. Then we're going to put a spill hole right there in the top of it. So we've done our 2 cuts. And then I fold it back where it's open, 1 fold back. And you would make the hole ever how that you make the holes, but the easy way to do it is to make them all at one time. So that's what I'm going to do with a hole punch. So we're going to punch through right there. And that was on, we folded it back one time and it's on the crease of the paper. And I missed the crease a little bit. I'm off to one side. So then, if we did it right, we will wind up with an 8-sided parachute or a total disaster. You never know what you're going to get. And there you go. So we got our spill hole in the top. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines would attach there. And I know you guys are smart enough to know how to attach a line. I'm not going to do that. And this is obviously not a parachute anyway. This is a piece of paper. But if you were doing a cloth, you would start with if you want a 20-inch parachute, you start with a 20-inch square. And then you do your folds. And if you want to make the holes all together, which I do sometimes, that you would unfold it 1 fold, and then right on that line is where you would do your punch. And I'm just so glad this turned out. I have made a bunch of disasters. They look like X's and crosses and everything else if you don't do it right. So the key is to keep all these, all the time that you're folding it, the key is to keep all of the open ends together. And if you're not careful, you can wind up with a closed end and an open end, and that just, you know, is a disaster. And then you unfold it 1 fold, put your hole right there on this crease line. It's not centered, it's off-centered, but it's will be correctly spaced when you unfold a parachute. So you put your hole right there, all the way through, all of them, and then you unfold it, and unfold it, and there we go. We got an 8-sided parachute with 8 holes in it. All right, I'm going to fold this back up, and then now that I know I did it right, I'm going to do one more just to drive home the point of how to do it. This would ideally, not ideally, but it would have to be a square piece of cloth that we start with. And what I'm doing now is I'm making this rectangle piece of paper into a square by folding it along one edge, just like that. This side is the square, this side is the not square. So we're taking the rectangle out and leaving a square. There's a lot of ways to make parachutes. I've seen several different ways. There's complicated, there's way complicated, there's really simple ones, but I didn't really like the outcome of that one, so I decided this is what I'm going to do. So now we got a piece of cloth that's 20 inches by 20 inches. And if you believe this is 20 inches square, then I got some prime real estate down in Louisiana I'd like to say. Obviously this is about 10 inches square. Okay, the first fold is to bring the open ends up. So we're going to make it into a half, like that. And then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees to the right, clockwise, to the left. Anyway, clockwise, we're rotating it 90 degrees clockwise. And we're going to fold it in half again. So now all we've done is just 2 folds into halves. Okay, so we folded it twice now. And now we're going to rotate it 45 degrees to the right. And we're going to take this corner and fold it up to this corner. So I'm going to pull back just a little bit so I can do it. Anyway, I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted that I better keep on doing what I'm doing before I make a mistake. Looks like I done made one. Because now I got, here's when you know that you got a problem. Because I got open ends and closed ends together. And that's not what I want. Not what I want. So I would have to take this one, and go up to this one to have all the open ends the same side. And I guess basically what we're forming is the base of the triangle, or of the parachute. Okay, so we got all open ends, right? That's the third fold. We got all open ends. Nobody is creased in there. All right? So now that we have all open ends, we're going to take this one. I don't know that's right. Yeah, we're going to take this one. So it would be from the 45-degree turn, we're going to turn it down to 90, and we're going to take this corner and we're going to fold it right along what I was going to say is there's many ways to skin a cat. However, none of them are approved by the cat. This is your cut line, this one. I'm going to put a mark on it so you can see it. It's just a piece of paper. It's not very obvious. This would be the cut line right there. Using this edge to find out where it's at. So we're going to cut that off. Oh, I hope this works. And then we're going to unfold it. And we got something like a equal witch's dress. I don't know what it is. Anyway, whatever it is, it's what it is. So we're going to come up here and then put our hole, try to get on the crease this time. What happens is when I start unfolding the paper, I can't tell where the crease is. And not only that, it's inside the hole punch, and that even makes it more hard to find. So I'm going to come up to about right there, and I know I'm centered in the crease now, so put a hole in it. Guess what, I missed it again. But anyway, you get the idea. It needs to be on this crease. So then we're going to unfold it. Origami in reverse. Yeah, voila. If I had stayed on the crease, they would have been, you know, exactly on the point. That's why you want to stay on that crease. It's so that you get the hole on the point and not off to the side like this one. So I've showed you a couple things that can happen. Hopefully this will make sense to you. Well, they fold up a lot easier than they fold from the get-go. Just remember that you got to keep all the open ends on the same side of the parachute before you cut it. If you got a mix of open ends and closed ends, you will get something that might look like a cross or a, I don't know. One of them I did was, I did something wrong. I know what I did wrong. I didn't bring this all the way to the edge. I did something like this for some reason. And it wound up being in between these holes, or what would be considered panels on a parachute. In between these panel holes, it was cut out up into it like that. And then some is made as like really just like a square, which is not what I want. This is what we want. That's an 8-sided parachute. Don't believe me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sides, 8 holes, easy to do. Best of luck with it. It's a really good way to make a parachute, I think. You only have one measurement to make, and that's the square of the cloth. Like I said, if you're going to make a 20-inch parachute, it'd be 20 inches by 20 inches. Fold it up, turn it, fold it up, then bring up one corner or the other, and I'm always confused which one it is, but bring up the corner that gives you the open ends, and then fold it back, and then open it up, and that's the crease is where you want your holes. If you put it in there when it's folded over, you'll wind up with the 16 holes. Here's one I made out of ripstop. It's a 15 inch with 22 inch lines on it. And we'll put it over here in front of the fan and see what it does. So, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, check back. We'll find something else to do next time. We might even skin a cat if I can find one. Oh, wait, I got one. I don't think he'd go for it, and it wouldn't be any good anyway. All right, see you later, bye.